My dear friends, I am standing in the street that goes between the synagogue to my left and the fish market to my right. Now from here would start the city and the very small street right between. So you can imagine people in the synagogue are sitting and negotiating or reading or teaching or learning, and they can smell the fish smell. How do we know that this is a fish market? That's because we found in those shops to my right and back, we found pools, small pools for water. They bring the fish alive and they put it in this pool. If you want to come and buy fish, you choose which one you like, and he would take it from this small pool and he would clean it, and then it is ready for you to take home. How they used to fill those pools with water? They dug a channel from the sea all the way to bring the water here to those shops. And for sure you can imagine shops from here all the way to the sea. And this channel would bring the water into those shops, while if you're looking very well at the location of this town or city, you will see that it is located in a plain. For sure that this plain would be full with water in winter time. So they dug another channel to run the water, the flash floods, towards the sea, and this channel would cross through the houses. So people, they can use the water in their houses, and soon I will show you more about it, and the water would continue all the way to the sea. So when Josephus Flavius told us about Magdala revolting against the Romans, or Magdala joining the Zealots, and he was the commander of Galilee, he decided to dismantle this synagogue, to use its stones to fortify the walls of the city, and maybe they were thinking, after we defeat the Romans, then it would become very easy for us to take the stones, dismantle the walls again, take it from this side and rebuild the synagogue. So you can imagine when the Jewish people revolt against the Romans, they fortified their cities, mainly in Galilee, and what happened? Some of those synagogues they built become outside the walls of the city. And here we have a very good example. Soon you will see some walls, and you can tell that those stones not in its place. That's because of what I'm telling you about. It was in another place, which is the synagogue, dismantled and brought to this side to fortify the walls, so it is not in its original place. You can also tell now that Peter, as the others, all the fishermen who would spend the whole day in the sea fishing, by the end of the day, they would come to this town, sell the fish that they caught already all day, maybe buy what they want, and take the boat again in the sea and travel to the other side, where Bethsaida, hometown of John and Andrew, or to Capernaum, also in the northern shores on the other side, so Peter, who was living there, can reach his house. So every day you can see them coming in and out, and every day they're coming to do business, sell and buy in this town. And Jesus, as one of those Galileans who would come here, we won't say every day, but he's coming also to teach in their synagogues. Digging this site of the city Magdala, we discovered that we are digging the most fancy section of this city. For the villas that we found here, it is amazing. And you can tell that there is a street right in front of you. And to the right side and left side of the street, located the houses. And as I told you, because of the mountains behind me, and because those mountains right between them to the left side, located the main street that comes from Egypt all the way through our country to cross to Syria. The name of this street is the Via Maris, the way of the sea. Now you know that the city located on a junction, main junction, where you can turn to the left and continue to Golan Heights and Damascus, or turn to the right and go to Tiberias, and south side of the Sea of Galilee, cross to Jordan of today. So you will need a food, you will need rest, you will need business. So this is the place. But the major problem here is, or in this location, is the floods. Lots of water would come from this side towards the sea. So those people, when they built their villas right here, they come out with a very special idea of letting the floods running towards the sea, but everyone built in his house what we call it a ritual bath, mikveh in Hebrew, because they need it. They are Jews, they are religious. So it is running water and it is available all the time in the houses. And it was built in an amazing way, so there was channels to get this water into the houses and continue all the way to the sea. What happened to this very beautiful city? And according to Josephus Flavius said, if you look very well to my right, this ridge behind me is blocking the view towards the city Tiberias. And the city Tiberias is a Roman city, not a Jewish city. For when Antipas decided to build it and move his capital from Tsipori to Tiberias, he called it Tiberias after Tiberius, Emperor Tiberius, he found tombs and the foundations. So what happened? Jews said, we won't live in a place where lots of tombs. By the way, yesterday I was in a trip here in Tiberias, and I crossed next to Tiberias city of today. In the bus, I had a group of priests, Jewish Kohanim priests. And they said, we don't cross this way. You have to make a turn. It is a city built on top of tombs. So it was a Roman city there. So when the Romans decided to come and attack, while the Jews were expecting them coming this way from the street, they come from the sea. And here people of Magdala, they got trapped, lots of killing, lots of destruction. Josephus Flavius said that people tried to run away by taking their boats and running away into the other side. Now the other side is the Golan Heights, which is the Greek shores. They were killed by the Romans, and Josephus Flavius said everything, all the water on the shores of Magdala or the seaport of Magdala turned red. In 80s, we found one of the boats that was sunk there from that time. They took it out in an amazing way, and now they show it in a museum built specially for this event very close to us, where they show inside the boat from Jesus' time. That was the end of the city Magdala then. Josephus Flavius said, lots of people were slaved. So they took them, the men, to Tiberias city, to the amphitheater, and they sold them as slaves. Lots of killing. Ladies and usually girls, they would be slaved to. That was the end of the city Magdala, or the city Terachia, or the city Nunia. My dear friends, here we come to the seaport of Magdala. Right to my left, located the storages and this seaport. The water was next to the high trees behind me, and shallow water would come all the way close to the buildings to my left, where people would come down from the boat and evacuate the boat and fill those storages if they need it. If not, they would take the street to my right and go also here, shops to the right and left, all the way to the market that you have seen in the beginning. Right here, when they decided to build this church, they decided to give a very special taste to this church. Very beautiful church. And you will see inside a Catholic taste, Orthodox taste, and even Protestant taste. The idea is this church would gather all people. So it is open for everybody. So when they dug this place, especially the street to my right, especially that this street goes under the church, they decided to take every stone, chick under it, and put it back to its place. So those stones are sitting here in its place since Jesus' time, even before. So when you come to Magdala, and happen that you come here, and you walk here, feel so proud to go back home and say, I walked where my Lord was walking one time. For this is the street that everybody would take coming from the sea towards the city. And Jesus was one of those people who did come here many times, so logically he would walk on this street. Okay, my dear friends, remember what I told you in the beginning. Treasures. It is not one synagogue, but two. When they decided to widen this street, the main street right here, they decided to do some digging. So, to make sure that there is no, let's say, antiquities, so they can take the bulldozers and open and widen this main street. While they are digging, they found, as you see behind me, houses from 1st century, and right in the middle, where you see some flat stones in the middle, they do believe, and for now, that it is another synagogue. That is Second Temple period synagogue. That is Jesus' time. That is the time while the temple still exists in Jerusalem. People were also using those two synagogues. People of Magdala were using those two synagogues. If we are right, for we know it is just discovered in the December 12. That's just like a couple weeks ago. And if we are right, here is another treasure. Synagogue from Jesus' time. In this way, my dear friends, Magdala, much bigger than what we think. To be honest, people in the beginning, some archaeologists, believe that under this street located the amphitheater. For they were looking for the amphitheater that mentioned by Josephus Flavius, that the Romans sold the men of Magdala, the survivals, as slaves in the amphitheater of Tiberius. But after they come out with this, now we know that Magdala was much bigger than what we think. Magdala, my dear friends, we know it is from the Persian period. On top of the Persian period comes the Greek period. We did find in this archaeology, we found some remains of houses from 6th century BC, then 3rd, 4th, and 3rd century BC. Then on top of the Greek Magdala comes the Roman Magdala, that is Jesus' time. On top of the Roman Magdala, part of it more to the south of the Magdala of today, we found the Magdala or Migdal, the Arab period, and mainly the Mameluke 13th, 14th century Magdal or Magdala of Arabs. So Magdala was still alive even during the Mameluke period. Is this the hometown of Mary Magdalena? Could be. Remember that people were called after their villages. As we say, Jesus of Nazareth, in some books, by the way, Jewish books, they called him the Nazarene, as also, or the man of Nazareth. Also, we read Simon of Cyrene. We read Judas Ishkariot, Ish, man in Hebrew. Kariot, it's a village located in, by the way, in Judea. Also, there is another Kariot in Samaria. Also, could be Mary of Magdala. So Mary Magdalena. Could be, I won't say no, could be. So my dear friends, again, we are following the footprints of our Lord here in Magdala. The Lord again did see those stones, those walls, those houses, probably even taught and worshipped and meted with people in this synagogue too. I am so proud to be living in the Holy Land. Follow me on YouTube. Go into depth. There is more to come.